Queensland renters are copping the brunt of the nation's housing crisis, with rental affordability plummeting.
Brisbane Mayor is absolutely freaking out because the Brisbane City Council has brought in some changes that they want to implement in the rental and the construction industry that's going to absolutely smash the rental market in Brisbane City Council area. Now, they've had some fantastic investment rules for the last 3 years, where you've been able to invest in these multi-income, high-return properties, affordable housing, create affordable housing for tenants that don't have a lot of money, with these rooming houses and co-living houses. But now the Brisbane City Council is actually going completely crazy, right? And it's going to absolutely force rents up, force tenants into situations where they could be actually physically in danger, right? It's going to cause arguments, it's going to cause legal problems for the council because they're going to get sued because of this, and it's an absolute nightmare for the mayor. What the council is doing, you could actually have 5 independent studio apartments or these micro one-bedroom apartments in the one house, where you're getting 5 incomes from the property. Everyone's got their own kitchenette, they've got their own separate bedrooms, lounge rooms, right, and bathrooms, and there's a common share laundry for all the tenants, and then there's also another living area and a kitchen that most tenants never use because their units were self-contained. Well, what the Brisbane Council is now doing, in their infinite dumb wisdom, is that they actually want to force complete strangers to move to the common areas. They want to eliminate the kitchenettes in their rooms, the sinks in their rooms, and they're saying, no, you got to go into a kitchen and basically fight over who's going to use the oven at 6 o'clock with 5 other people that are living there with you, complete strangers. So you could have an 18-year-old girl living with some 40-year-old bloke, who's just been released from jail. And I'm not saying that's the type of people that rent these, but technically this is a possibility. Now, it's equivalent of, imagine getting people who live in an apartment block in home units now saying your home unit can't have its own kitchen, you got to cook in a common kitchen on each floor, right? Now, it's ridiculous, right? People are going to fight over what's in the fridge, right? They're going to fight over, when your food gets stolen, right? There's going to be all types of issues, right? And the council is making these changes to the rules that were working perfectly fine, right? We've had hundreds of these properties constructed. Investors are happy, they're making great returns. Tenants are getting affordable rents anywhere from $350 to $400, $450 a week, fully inclusive, furnished, right? Wi-Fi, electricity, right? It was a fantastic model. And of course, the government, as usual, is going to try and screw that up by changing the rules, because what the government does is they say they want to do one thing, and yet they do completely the opposite in real world. So they're saying they want to create more affordable housing, but they're actually making it more expensive and more difficult for these low-cost housing properties to be constructed, right? Also, they're proposing in other council areas to charge infrastructure fees, where if you build a 5-unit rooming house, you have to pay $100,000 to the council, right, for supposed infrastructure charges. So what they're saying is they want you to pay for the extra sewerage and water pipes. They've got to increase. Now, it's meant to be applied to home units, right? Where if you build a big block on a block of land, there must be upgrades to some of the facilities leading to that property. But if it's just a normal house like these properties are, right, basically you've got a 5-bedroom house with 5 occupants that the council and the government wants to charge an extra $100,000 for, and yet next door, and now this one's going to be rented for affordable housing to people that really don't have a lot of money. Now, next door, you could build a McMansion, right? 7 bedrooms, 15 people could live there, and no infrastructure charges, because that's deemed a family home. This one is basically going to have less people, but they want to charge you as if there was 10 people living there and it was a home unit block, right? So once again, the government really doesn't know what they're doing, and I think the mayor's going to freak out because this is going to come back on them terribly, right? And this is going to be one of the worst decisions that the government has made, in actually helping to solve the affordable crisis in Queensland, right? In Victoria, they've actually got much better rules than this, and I don't know why Queensland can't actually take the lead from Victoria, because Victoria hasn't been very good, to be honest, in the past. But this is one thing that they got right, where they're allowing for these low-cost affordable housing properties to be constructed up to 9 people, 9 studio units in the one building, which is like building one floor of an apartment block. Right? So it's in a house on the ground floor. Everyone's got their own courtyards, their own kitchenettes, their own privacy. They're all self-contained little, home haven where they can feel comfortable and safe. And now the council in Brisbane wants to force them to mingle together in the common areas. Can you imagine the problems of 5 strangers who do not know each other sharing a kitchen, a fridge, right, and a very close-knit area when they don't know each other, right? All the problems potentially that could cause, right? So the council is actually thinking about making these changes. So if you know anything about it, make sure you write to the mayor, make sure you write to the council and tell them what a ridiculous idea this is for the tenants, right? For the neighbors, because it's going to cause problems with the neighbors, because there's going to be more arguments in these rooming houses. And they've been working fantastically for the last 3 years. And for some reason, unknown to me or anybody else that's in this kind of understands what's actually going on, they're wanting to change it and completely stuff it up. So if the council watches this, please keep it the way it's been, or even look at Victorian model, because they've really got this right? And it's going to be good for the lower socioeconomic, part of the market who can't afford to rent a 1-bedroom apartment for $700 or $800 that they're now costing $600, right? These are much more affordable accommodations, fully furnished, electricity, Wi-Fi, everything's inclusive. And the council wants to absolutely wreck this opportunity for low-income earners to get affordable accommodation. So that's why I reckon the Brisbane mayor is going to be freaking out, and they're going to regret this if they put this through, because it will get challenged in court, right? And the council will be liable if anything happens that harms the tenants, because they've been told that this is not going to be a good thing, that there's going to be problems. There have been people who've given submissions to the council telling them, this is so dumb, guys, don't do it. And yet, if they go ahead with this, they're going to be in trouble, right? So mark my words. And if you like this video, by the way, please subscribe, right? Click the like button. Give me any comments about what you think about the council and government helping to solve the accommodation crisis in Australia. Because I'm telling you, right, these guys got no idea, right? They say one thing in the headlines, but in reality, they can't build the properties that we need to build to be able to accommodate all the people that are pouring into Australia because of the current government, policy of immigration. So I'm just trying to do my bit here by, I guess, letting you know what's going on. And if you've been thinking about investing in one of these high return properties, make sure you do it now before the rules are changed, because after they change the rules, it's going to be more difficult. And it's not going to be as attractive for the tenants, and basically these properties will no longer be built, which will mean prices of rental will go up, and there'll be more headlines of how unaffordable housing is, and they're going to try and blame it on the landlords putting the rents up, and in fact it's the government who is stuffing it up, because they're not allowing people to build these more affordable options for accommodation that could have solved the housing crisis in the first place. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, as I said, like, and I'll see you on the next one. Good day. If you're looking to invest in a high-income property in the next 3 to 12 months, and whether that's buying an existing property, building a new one from existing plans, or developing land you may already own, then my team and I at Sun Property Institute would love to help you. What we're offering is a free one-on-one strategy session where we'll map out exactly where you are now, right, and where you want to be, and outline the best possible high return and capital growth property options to help you get there faster. Some of the things we'll walk you through is like which property types and strategies are best for income, tax benefits, capital growth, paying your mortgage faster, the best cities, suburbs, areas for future capital growth and returns, and how you can build a property portfolio that could retire you within 10 to 15 years, starting from as little as $70,000 investment. Now, just go to www.Sun Property Institute to book that session, and just click the button on that website to get your free strategy session, or there's a link near this video. If there's a link there, then just click that link. And look at our website. You can also get a copy of a download of some of the books you can see behind me that I have written on property investing, and they're also there on our website. Now, you can take all that information and look, you can run with it and do it all on your own. Or if you like what you see and there is a fit between us, then we can work together with you to help you reach your goals. And either way, you'll learn how to invest smarter with less risk and build your financial freedom with more confidence. So book that call now and book yourself in that session, and either way, best of investing success.